All right. They're all gonna bad now that I'm talking. Hello, friends. It's me. I know I haven't been on here lately. Sorry, I just had chocolate. But I've been a busy bee. Anyways, I am getting ready to clear off the hay wagon because we have a bunch of stuff on it. I want to clean up this disaster. We are getting ready for winter on the farm, even though it is most definitely November 19th and it is like 10 degrees and sunny outside, so we cannot ask for better weather. We have been getting tons of pumpkins. Okay, ignore the barn disaster, I know, but I'll get to it. We've been getting tons of pumpkins and I've been feeding it to the sheep because the sheep are back in the barn. Let's go check it out. All right. They're all gonna bad now that I'm talking. So the original plan was to have only one row of fencing come across here, feeding gates. We have decided to do like kind of the setup we used to have in our old barn, which is a feeding alleyway setup. So I did have a few of the gates down there, which I'll show you. All of my gates are from Veno. I get them specifically from Zoodavart Agri in Mitchell, Ontario. So anyways, we have set up this alleyway feeding for the barn, which is working out nicely. So we've got about 25 sheep on that side and another 25 over here, or maybe 26 there because the ram's on that side. It is working well, and I am glad to have it back like this. We did have to adjust a few of these gates, and I'll show you how we did that. Because sure, I could have went and bought more feeding gates, but I had these ones, so we're gonna make it work. Okay, so disclaimer, the barn is still a disaster because I am just setting up. As you can see, there's stuff all over the place. My bee equipment is not yet put away, and we actually scored 27 bags of malt grain. So kind of like brewer's grain, but it hasn't been brewed yet. So it's just like the wheat and barley and whatnot, because our local brewery, unfortunately, is closing their doors, and they had this, some of it's expired, but I mean, grain is grain, so we're gonna use it. The sheep are loving it. Pens are a little mucky right now. We are going to pick up hay and straw today, so they'll be bedded down, don't worry, okay? But let me show you our gate setup. Okay, so when you come in, this is kind of what we have set up. So sheep on each side, goats are at the back. So these are the one style of feeding gates that I brought to this farm from the other farm, and it is adjustable. So if you're feeding ewes, you can drop it down or crank it up. And then if you're doing lambs, then we usually just put it on the middle notch. Just makes that opening a little bit smaller so that lambs can't come through. So we've got two of these gates here, which work perfectly. Over here, we had a gate that, well, first of all, a cow wrecked it, and then our boar had punched out this one post. So it gave me the idea that I could just turn this style gate into one of these gates. So we went ahead and cut off the other post here, and it is working amazing. At some point, I will straighten this out with the skid steer and just flatten it out, but that is working lovely. Goaties are over here. Hi, ladies. Lulu, look at your face. You're so sweet. In this corner, this will be my creep pen. For this side, I will make a little door here. This turd is in here. She is our only boar goat, and she is so mean to the other goats. So she is being separated. And once she kids, I will likely part with her because I don't have time or energy to be babysitting animals. On this side, I did run out of gates, so I went ahead and just kind of set it up with some lumber, and it is working just as good. The only issue I think is that it is kind of low for them. So some are dropping on their knees, like this one here, to eat. And then lambs are obviously going to be able to get out of that. So I might adjust it and bring it up a bit. This gate, we did the same thing, and we cut out the 2 middle posts there to give them more feeding space. And we are going to do that with this gate over here and this one, because the important thing when you are feeding like this, like fence line feeding, is that all the sheep have to be able to eat at the same time. So it minimizes waste, but it also makes sure that when you're putting out grain that everybody has the ability to get the same amount of grain. I had just tossed the grain on top of the hay. This was like an old bale, so it's kind of ratty looking, and it's going to be tossed in today and used for bedding. But anyways, yeah, super important that all the sheep have a space to stand and eat when we are feeding like this. So we will be making adjustments to the other 2 gates here, because we have about 5 sheep on each side that can't eat when everybody else is eating. But that's basically our new little setup. It works well, pretty happy with it. Right, mamas? Yeah. We unfortunately lost our little baboon. Occasionally you cry about goats and sheep. I'm gonna need a minute, hold on. Okay, so for anybody who's tuning in who doesn't know who Baboon is, you can probably find a video here of her or over on TikTok or Instagram, but anyways, Baboon was born really, really tiny, and she lived in our kitchen, or our bathroom, for a good 2.5 months. We bottle fed her. She was out with the goats all spring and summer, and she basically was our little pet goat. She was 7 months old, but somehow the other night she went hypothermic, and I came into the barn the next morning. This was on Saturday morning. I came into the barn and immediately heard the, like, what I call the death cry. And when I ran in here, I thought that maybe she was just stuck somewhere, but she was just laying down screaming. Brought her into the house and checked her temp, and obviously it was so low that the thermometer didn't even read a temperature. It just said low. I tried to warm her up, and it just didn't work. So that's been hard. I think that's maybe where it kind of derailed my YouTubing. I will say that I'm really happy that the sheep are back in the barn, because although I love having them out grazing, it's been really nice to just be able to come in here and chill with them and mend my heart. And I also, because my heart needed mending, I went and picked up a mama cat and 3 kittens. So now we have 3 kittens and a mama cat who are living in this little tack room. I can't see. Hi, mama. Oh, there she is. She is the friendliest cat, and I'm happy to have her here. But she's adjusting, and the dogs are adjusting to her because we didn't want the dogs chasing her off. So she has been chilling in there with her babies. The bunnies have also relocated themselves to the barn. They like to free feed on our malt grains. Right, Fatty? They all hide back here. Hi, bunnies. So now that the sheep are back in the barn, it means that we are officially buying our hay again to feed them. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to go with the fence line feeding. I found last year that we wasted so much hay with the sheep being able to paw at it or lay in it or pee on it. So fence line feeding like this just makes it a lot easier to manage the feed and making sure that it's not getting wasted. So anyways, that's all starting today. So we're going to pick up our first load of hay and some straw, and we'll see how much hay we consume this winter and if we notice a difference. I think that last year we were about every 2 days I was putting out 2 bales for 60 some sheep. So we'll see if it's any better this year. So I know some of you are going to ask, how are we making sense of buying hay for our sheep this winter? And I'm going to answer that for you. Everybody's got something to say. So first off, we have a relatively small flock of sheep, so we have 50 ewes. The area that we are in, the hay is a little bit cheaper, so we can get a round bale of hay for $35 to $40. The other thing is that we are only feeding hay for half the year. So from May until November, the sheep have been out on pasture, on grass, eating free, which has been really nice. My husband and I both, well, I'm working off the farm part-time now. He works off the farm also, and we just decided that this was something that would work better for us. Obviously, some people have to make their hay. We just would prefer using our pastures for grazing instead of hay. And we just didn't have the time to commit to doing our own hay. If you've never done hay before, it is so stressful, and you have to plan around the weather, and you can't go into work, and so when you're working off farm, it's a little bit more difficult. So we decided this past summer that we were not going to be doing hay this year, and we feel good about it. So sheep are going to be happy. The hay that we are getting, I am going to get an analysis done on it because I do want to make sure that my sheep are getting everything that they need from it. And then something else that we're doing is I am implementing and going to always have protein tubs out per pen so that they have all that extra stuff that they need, loose minerals. We do a cobalt blue salt block, and we also do, I get it at PV Mart, but it's, I don't know if you can see, it's like a brown salt block. It's called the Sheep Magnum, I think it's a magnesium block. So they always have that stuff free choice also. So yeah, that's basically what we've got going on. Willy dilly, what are you doing, homegirl? So anyways, I think that's it for today. If you're new here and you'd like to stay in the know, make sure you hit like and subscribe. We appreciate your follow, and we will see you in the next video.